They're the king of the hill right now.
It's a big game. There's no question about that.
Everybody knows what's at stake.
We expect success.
The immediacy is to get focused. The most prepared team will win this game.
It is the most anticipated game of the year in the Big Ten. Number 14 Ohio State visiting 8th-ranked Michigan State with redemption on the Buckeyes' minds after Sparty bounced them from the BCS title picture in last year's conference title game. Hey everybody, welcome into our Campus Insiders studios. I am Bonnie Bernstein, joined today by our OSU insider Beanie Wells and Sparty insider Joe Rexrode. Beanie, we know OSU can put up the points, but JT Barrett really struggled this season against Virginia Tech and Penn State, the two best defenses he's faced. You go to practice, you talk to the coaches. Why do you believe Barrett will fare well against the Big Ten sack leader?
First and foremost, JT Barrett is a very, very mature kid. And he understands that, he made some mistakes and he is working diligently to get better. And, secondly, I don't think we had the great offensive line play in those two games, particularly in Virginia Tech and versus Penn State. And I know that's something that Coach Herman and Coach Urban are stressing this week is execution on the offensive line and protecting JT Barrett. The times that they have protected him, he's had great time to throw and he has had great success.
And there's been all sorts of talk about the play calling being a little more aggressive this year. Conservatism has sort of been their enemy. As far as Michigan State, Joe, didn't answer the call in the Big Ten championship defensively. It was really Connor Cook and the offense that won it. So how would you rate the defensive group on the field Saturday to last year's unit?
Well, it's not there yet, Bonnie. And you look back at the Oregon game this year, you could see the communication problems at times, coverage busts. I mean, Marcus Mariota is a great player. He had a couple touchdown passes in that game. He could have punted. Now, Michigan State has gradually gotten better. The Michigan game, no plays more than 24 yards. And I know Michigan's not a good offensive team, but still capable of making big plays. And other teams have made big plays at Michigan State's expense. The safety play in that game for Michigan State was the best of the year. Curtis Drummond, R.J. Williamson getting his starting job back. Both Ohio guys, by the way. And those guys are going to be huge in this game.
Well, when you consider that Michigan State lost, 6 or 7 starters on defense last year, it's been a gradual process. All right, guys, let's flip it around for our debate question. Connor Cook and Michigan State's offense against Ohio State's defense and Joey Bosa, who leads the conference in sacks and tackles for loss this season. Who has the edge? Beanie, you start first.
I definitely think Ohio State does at the defensive front. With Joey Bosa, we're going to need him to have a monster game on Saturday. We're going to have Michael Bennett, who's projected to be a first-round pick, step up and kind of, make that stake and make his claim. All year long, we've been having a guy like Joshua Perry step up and make big plays on the defense when needed, and stopping that run. And we can't forget about Deron Lee. Our front seven, I believe, has the advantage in that game.
On the flip side of that, Beanie, I looked at the Michigan State-Michigan game. And again, I know you don't want to put too much into a game against a not very good team in Michigan. But a year ago, solid Michigan front seven. Michigan State could not run the ball until late in that game. Against Michigan's solid front seven this year, Michigan State really dominated the line of scrimmage. I think this is Mark D'Antonio's best offensive line. This is the best offensive lineman Michigan State's had in a long time, and Jack Conklin. And I think Ohio State would be wise to keep Joey Bosa away from him. He completely silenced Randy Gregory when Nebraska came to Spartan Stadium earlier this year.
And I understand it is one of the better offensive lines that Michigan State's had. But one thing that I know Luke Fickell and Coach Ash are addressing is running a lot of blitz. Traditionally Ohio State hasn't been a team to blitz a lot. And this week we know and we understand that they're going to have to blitz a lot, get to Connor Cook, get him rattled a bit, and hopefully, we get him to let him hang that ball in there and we get a couple of interceptions.
Well, that's key. Connor Cook turning it over for Ohio State's chances, and that's where Michigan State's running game has to be a factor here. Jeremy Langford didn't really run in that game last year against Ohio State until the end also. If Michigan State establishes him, I think you take some of the heat off of that rush. If not, then I think you're right. I think Ohio State's going to turn loose on Connor Cook.
Well, at the end of the day, guys, it's hard to imagine a 2-loss team out of the Big Ten actually getting a spot in the playoffs. So this game has some serious big picture implications. Buckeyes and the Spartans, 8 o'clock kickoff time in East Lansing. Joe Rexrode and Beanie Wells, enjoy the game, both of you. And college fans, especially those of you who are Ohio natives, be sure to check out our segment on Campus Insiders about the top 5 college football players of all time raised in the Buckeye State.